Wagwan pussies, today you join me from the back of the bins, and sadly I couldn't find my skate career behind there, but instead we're going to be doing 8 or maybe even 9 no-comply tricks that I'm going to teach you guys, because I actually really enjoy no-comply tricks and there are tons of variations, so much creativity you can have with it. And I'm also going to rank them from easiest to hardest, and there's a chapter selection down below, so if you want to check out any of the tricks specifically, get down there and have a look. But with all that being said, let's get into the first trick. So if you haven't noticed already, we're doing this one not at the skate park, and that is because the skate park is getting quite busy with it being like the summertime, springtime, and obviously the kids are now coming off school. People are leaving for exams and stuff, so we're doing it in the back of the car park right by the bins.
Oh my goodness!
So what we're going to do here is we're going to do our first no-comply trick. That is a no-comply 180, and trust me, it's the easiest no-comply there is. It's super simple. It looks just like this. This is the front side version, by the way. Real easy, real simple, and the great thing about no-complies is they're super low risk and it's hard to hurt yourself on them, so you can really break them down incrementally and get them with not much risk. So this one, we're going to go for it step by step. Foot position, important. Front foot, you want it somewhere where you can easily step off. I tend to have mine about halfway up, just like this, so you can step off just like that. The back foot, you're gonna have on the tail, toes on the tail, like I say with all the tricks that you wanna be learning. Toes on the tail, and as the front foot comes off, the back foot puts weight on the tail, and then you kick it down and away from you. This causes the boards to do a 180, and when the board goes that way, you follow it with this foot. So you might need to watch this bit a couple times just to get it down, but push down, kick away, follow the board with the foot. So just like this. Just like that. So your foot starts facing that way and it ends facing that way. Remember? Just like this. Follow it like that. It doesn't have to stick directly to the end of the board, but the better you can stick it to the tail, the better it's going to look. Just like that. And then when you do that, you're going to jump onto it with the board. So if you were to break it down super simply, you take the front foot off, the back foot on the tail, pop it round, and then jump, and now you're riding in switch. And you just slowly put these pieces together a little bit faster each time until you eventually end up with something like this. You do it all in one jump, all in one motion, but it's always best to practice it like this first. Foot off, round, step and walk away. I've taught many people how to do it this way, and trust me, this is the easiest, best, simplest, lowest risk way to do it. All right, next is the No-comply Caveman. Maybe actually even easier than the first one, because this one, we're just gonna pop into our hands and then throw it back beneath us. So maybe this would be the easiest one, and then we'll slowly build up in difficulty from here. So you're gonna pop it up into your hand, have the hand ready, one foot on the floor, and then jump back on. Simplest way to do this one is first practice just the caveman, stand on one leg, have the board out in front of you, and then as you jump off this leg, aim to land over the bolts. If you bend your knees when you land, you're going to be much better off at not having the board zoom out from underneath you. If you land straight-legged, you're going to be way more likely to go full on your ass, be crying all night. So that's the first step. The second step is just popping it into your hand. Now this is real simple as well. You can do this stationary, you can do it moving if you want, but it's best to practice stationary so you're a bit less risk. Have your foot in the center of the tail so it pops up straight. Front foot, you're just literally jumping out the way with that. When you pop it up, you land on your back foot like that with the board in hand, and then throw it back just like we did in step one. And it should look something like this. Just like that. Make sure that when you catch the board, you have your thumb on the grip tape, 4 fingers on the back, and then you just do exactly what we did in step one, and you've got your pop-up caveman. All right, so next we're covering the shuvit. Now this is very similar to the first one, except this time, instead of following the board around with our leg, like that, the board goes and we jump straight onto it without following it. So it looks like this. And you try and land with the back foot back on the tail where it shot off from. Just like that. This is exactly what you want to practice at first. Simple as just pushing down and slightly kicking in a diagonal direction. So if your board's facing forward, you're going to be kicking your foot out about 45 degrees, halfway between there and a right angle, and then down and away from you like that. So just like this. And then aim to catch the board exactly where you kicked off from. Just like that. And now the hardest part of this trick is to do it while moving. So again, we can break it down real simple. So again, right forward, front foot off, pop it round, catch it with that foot, and then step back on. And that is all the skeleton of the trick. Now you just got to add the speed incrementally as you learn it. So if we were to do it a little bit faster, foot off, pop round, catch it, ride away clean. All right, next up we got the nose grab. Now this one is super easy as well. You're just gonna pop it into your hand similar to the caveman, but you're gonna keep your foot attached to it the entire time so you don't have that disconnect. It's gonna look like this. This one is probably one of the easiest of the whole no-comply trick selection, and all you have to do is make sure that you can pop it into your hand and then just follow it with the back foot. This is gonna be a real quick tutorial, this section. So remember, same as before with the caveman, you're gonna take that foot off, pop it into our hand, keep the back foot with it, you kind of tweak it 90 and then jump back on. Way easier when you're moving though, that was a bit sketchy. So remember, pop it into our hand, keep the back foot attached, and jump straight back on. That's the simplest version of it. You can tease this one out, you can throw a finger flip in, you can do all kinds of stuff with it. We're gonna get to the finger flip one in a little while, but yeah, this is definitely one of the easiest ones on the list. The literal only difference between that and the caveman version is the foot stays with the board. On the caveman it looks like this, and on the nose grab it looks like this. Very simple, very similar. All right, so next we've got the hand flip. Now this is probably the most disgusting one out of all of them and definitely my least favorite, but still some people quite enjoy it, so I feel like I'll put it in the list anyway because it's not all about just which tricks are my personal favorite. So this one, the hand flip. Different to the finger flip because we're not grabbing it and throwing it like that. We're gonna hit it up, and as we hit it up, we're gonna slap it back down to flip it. And this one, like I said, doesn't look the best, so at your own peril. And you can also, if you don't have gloves or anything, risk hurting your hand a little bit. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your foot off, pop up, slap down, and jump straight on. Like I said, some people think it looks cool, and when you can do it well, if you can do it on a bank, at a revert or something, then it does look all right. But for me personally, this isn't one of my favorites because I think it's because it left a bad taste in my mouth. Like during the winter, I just kept trying it and it was so cold when I kept slapping the board. It was hurting my hand so much, but in the summer, it's actually not too bad. Remember, pop up? Actually that well hurt, I tell a lie. But yeah, if you've got gloves and if you can do it properly, because I think it's just me messing it up, I'm not that good at it. But yeah, take the front foot off, do that, step back on, easy as that. And if you were to do it all in one motion, because obviously I did that super slow to break it down, it should look like this. Jump straight back on, hey presto. All right, number 6 is gonna be the finger flip. Now, very similar to the nose grab and the caveman, but this time when we throw it up and catch it in that hand, we're gonna twist our wrist, so zoom in on the wrist real quick, and then we're just gonna throw it like this. Throw it that way, thumb on the grip tape, 4 fingers on the back, throw it like that and practice catching it with that one foot, so like this. That's exactly what you wanna do. Pop up, catch, throw it round, pop up, catch, throw it round. Now we just need to do that with the whole body involved. So breaking it down again, front foot off, pop up in the hand, foot down, and step right back on. You'll notice that a lot of these no-comply tricks can be broken down in the exact same way. Literally just step off first, do the trick in slow motion or with your hand or like step by step, and then step back on. And slowly, as you get a bit more confident with the movements and flipping it and spinning it, then you can jump with your body straight onto it at the same time. So remember, this is what it's gonna look like when you're training. And then once you've added it all together, you should end up with something like this. Okay, so now we're getting into the more complex variations, and I'm just gonna take you over here real quick so we change the scenery up on this one too. Now this one is probably one of my favorites. It's a 360. We're doing a frontside 360 because it's the easiest variation, but again, it's just like the 180, the first one we covered in this list, but when we land, we're gonna finish off the turn with a bit of a revert. We generally try to go around 270 with the pop and then finish it with the revert, just because if you do like 180 and then a 180 revert, people are gonna get upset at you. So it should look like this. See how when I have my back foot on the board, the weight of having just that back foot on there manages to twist the board around that last 90 degrees. The best way to practice this one, you can't really break it down like you can with the other ones, but you're gonna take your front foot off just like you could before, and you're really gonna scoop this and follow it all the way around to like here, and then that's when the other foot comes on and finishes the rotation. So if you're doing it off the board, you should go like that, and once you're at just over 180, finish off the revert like that. You can break it down like that. It's not the best way to get used to it because obviously you want to do it all as quickly as possible to make it look fluid. This one is definitely going to require the most practice, and the hardest bit is to get it to not flip. My tips for that is that when you pop it, you pop down, but you mostly follow the board away from you and try and get it in that full rotation like this. You can't pop it too hard because you just see what happened there where it like hit me in the leg. Didn't hurt, but still it gets in the way. So you pop. Oh, that one hurt. Smack me in the kneecap, yeah? So having the momentum of moving will stop it from doing that as much. I'm all over the place like a baby giraffe at the minute. So, foot off, hop round, and then try and finish it. Try and take your time with finishing it at first. So, just like that, nice and slow. You can pivot, you can revert, whichever way feels best. Just pop it as far around as you can, and then finish it just like that. This is one of my personal favorite ones. I do this one quite often. The backside one is a bit harder, but if you find it, but if you want to try it, it's harder, all right? It's harder. Just like that. But yeah, getting back to the frontside 360, just practice it exactly how I just showed you, and you'll end up with one of these. One of my personal favorite ways to 360. All right, so this next one is great for doing out of ramps, doing on banks, to fakie, all kinds of places in the skate park. You can take this over hips. This is a really nice adaptable trick that you can take to all areas of the skate park, and this is the Sal flip. Now this is not technically a regular Sal flip because on a normal Sal flip you do it on a vert ramp and you throw the board underneath you without touching the floor, but a no-comply version is really nice in my opinion. So you do it just like you do with the Caveman, catch it like that, but instead of jumping straight on it, straight, we do it like this. Catch it like that. You want to aim to catch this one with your hand slightly on the outer corner of the skateboard, just like here. See right there? You're going to catch it like there instead of there. So like there, and then when you're here, you're going to twist your wrist and throw it 360. So like, just like that. And you're going to try and stop it with the foot as well. So when it's in the hand, throw it around like that. You're going to want to practice this bit a lot to get used to the throw. So in the hand, just like that. And you're going to stop it with the back foot. Boom. Boom. Bloody boom. So when you're doing it on the roll, right, so when we're moving, we're gonna pop it into our hand and then we're gonna go and throw it around and then step back on, just like that. You wanna stop it with the front foot because obviously your back foot's gonna be on the floor with this one. What we were doing just a second ago was just getting you used to throwing this and stopping it, but we're obviously gonna be stopping it with this foot when we do it for real because this one's gonna be on the floor. So throw it up, catch it, step on, and roll away. You're gonna be catching it just like that, and hopefully getting away with your life. So breaking it down one more time, pop up, throw it, step on. Do it just like that, and then when you feel like you've got the confidence to throw it all and just jump straight on without like stepping on and doing it fairly quickly, you're gonna end up with this. Just like that. Okay, this last one is probably one of my favorites and actually probably one of my most requested tricks. I've done a full tutorial on this one before. It's quite short, so we'll cover this one fairly quickly, and that is the No-comply Impossible. Now, there's one thing that you're going to want to know before you try this, and that is literally just how to scoop the board standing still. So you're going to put your foot about here on the outer facing corner of the board. You're going to push it down and do like a circular motion with your foot, and it will look like this. The board kind of wraps around, obviously impossible, they call it a wrap, so it goes round your foot, just like that. And like I say, with all of these no-comply tricks, we're going to break it down by stepping off with that front foot, doing that motion, and then stepping back on. This one can take a while to learn, and it definitely takes a little while to perfect, but when you do it, it is really worth it. So you take that front foot off, have the back foot on the tail ready, pop it around like that, and then step back on. Now, it's very common with tricks like this to land front heavy on the board, just because the way the board wraps around the foot generally tends to end up with the foot either in the middle of the board or slightly towards this end of it. So remember, when you're breaking it down, you're going to take that foot off like that, back foot, spin it round, and then push yourself away. Honestly, you can't really break this one down further than that. It's just about having that scoop motion perfected, and then when you do have it perfected, you can eventually take it all into one motion, and it looks just like this. Bear in mind, this is slightly harder than the rest of them, so it might take you a little while to get it. The hardest part is definitely scooping it and jumping at the same time, because remember, with that foot that goes on the floor, it's just a dab. You don't really want to hold it on the floor for too long. and you end up with something like this. I actually ended up closer to the back end of the board, which is quite rare for this trick, but yeah, as long as you can get back onto it, that's all that matters.